Hey, it's Benji Cole, son of Al Cole from CBS Radio and host of the syndicated talk show, People of Distinction. The talk that gives you an in-depth view of some of the most dynamic, intelligent, and successful people on the planet. Run to our website, alcoleenterprises.com for more info. Email me at benji@alcoleenterprises.com if you'd like to get involved with what we have going. And as always, please continue to like and follow our broadcast because People of Distinction is a nationally and internationally syndicated show because of listeners like you. Our shows are available across all major podcast distributors as well as YouTube. And if you keep following, we're going to continue to put out the content. We appreciate the support. Continue to like and follow and sit back and strap in because on the line with us today, we have the impressive Kadesh Sanders. We're discussing his amazing book, The Eternal Battles, Above and Below. Available for purchase through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, pretty much all the regular online book resellers. But people, you got a couple of other places you're going to want to check out. First and foremost, go to his personal website. That one's called holyfirecomics.com. There you're going to find more information on Kadesh himself, more information on this wonderful novel, as well as find the hyperlinks set up to take you to the purchasing pages. But also check out his YouTube pages. Now there's two of them I'm going to list for you. One is KD Arsenal 141. The next one is Holy Fire Comics, both of which are available through youtube.com as well as his personal website, holyfirecomics.com. And before we go any further, I want to take this opportunity and point out Kadesh was brought to our network, People of Distinction, today by one of the best advertising firms in the business. And people you already know, I'm talking about Studio of Books. So for my writers out there, listen to me and listen to me well. If you have gone through your process creating your masterpiece and now you need help moving the book you developed, give yourself the best gift you could possibly give and contact Studio of Books. This is what they specialize in, people, and I'm telling you, their team is standing by to assist you in your creative endeavors. So you're going to want to head on over to studioofbooks.org today to gather all the ways that their fantastic team is going to help you do just that. And listen, it is a true pleasure to have Kadesh here on the line. Now, right there in the title, you got an idea of what we're discussing today. An idea that will be solidified once you start to do some research on his book, The Eternal Battles. People, this is a historical fiction. This is a good old classic novel of good versus evil. It's about an ensuing war between angels and demons, a mixture of varying themes with a foundation that's grounded in the Bible. I'm telling you, this is a non-stop page turner. This is going to be a book you're not going to want to put down because not only is it so entertaining, but it's got a foundation that you're going to be able to get behind as well. Kadesh is a name that you're going to want to remember. It's a name to be reckoned with, and this man has a lot to offer. Sit back and strap in. Kadesh, first and foremost, man, welcome to People of Distinction, and thank you very much for being a guest. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, Benji. I appreciate you having me on the show, and I'm excited to talk about the Eternal Battles.
Absolutely. Listen, man, I know you're excited to be here. We're excited to have you here. Before we go into your book, tell us a little bit more about yourself and your background.
Well, as you know, I'm Kadesh Sanders. I was originally born in Flint, Michigan, 11/1/99. Later, I moved to San Antonio in 2011. I've pretty much been a Christian all my life, and also, as you've seen in my pages, an avid gamer. I did most of my school education in public school, but I did my last two grades, 11 and 12, in homeschool. And then I began working. But it went in a way I didn't expect. I had my hand in shipping, welding, factory work for a brief stint. And then in 2018, I had an accident. I suffered some spinal injuries.
Oh,
and in 2019 and 2020, I had cervical spine surgery and lumbar spine surgery. And, since that time, I was recovering all the way up until 2020, late 2022. And then that's really where we get started with why I'm here today.
Mm-hmm. Well, Kadesh, wow. Man, what a way to start an interview, brother. Listen, first and foremost, sincerest apologies for whatever accident caused that catastrophic injury. But it's great to see that you're on the up and up, right? And moving in the right direction and nothing but continued success.
Yeah.
I have to ask, man, let's start off with inspiration because, initially I wasn't planning on going here. But after that opening, I can't see myself going anywhere else. So you're talking about your background, in your love for Christianity, your love for gaming. Okay, so I can see how those are elements in your book. I'm starting to piece together things. But then you talked about going into work in welding and these other things. Connect the dots for us, Kadesh. Where did this book come from and where does the love for creative writing stem from?
There's a little bit more. I'm gonna add a bit to the previous question and then go into it. So I do have a few more hobbies. Of course, I do gardening. I like to grow watermelons, tomatoes, peppers, food in general. I have a garden right now in my backyard. I also did a bit of traveling. I traveled to Shanghai, China, Suzhou. I studied Chinese self-study, and I was able to use it over there, try new foods, expand my horizon,
Wow.
and really see the scenery of China. I have a collection of pictures, and I haven't actually shared them with anybody. That might be an incentive to follow my Instagram. I might start posting some of those things. I'm sure some of you are curious how it looks in China. It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
But when I was recovering from those spine surgeries, I had a lot of time to think. And as I came to the tail end of my recovery, I'm like, okay, where do I go from here? I have these restrictions, lifting restrictions, standing, twisting, different restrictions. And so I'm like, okay, a general heavy lifting job is not necessarily for me, due to some restrictions of my body. A traditional job might not be possible, if not very difficult.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, what am I going to do? So I have a lot of good ideas, being a gamer and many movies I've seen and being a Christian. So I think, okay, what could I write about? And I had two paths to go down. So I was like, okay, I just had a very intense period of my life. I could write about that. But I'm on the up and up. I'm feeling positive. And right now, I don't really want to dwell on that. I'd rather go a positive route and create something exciting, something that makes me not think about what I just did the last 2 years.
Right.
And so it led me to going into the idea of the ancient story of the fall of Lucifer. And that's where this begins. So I thought, what if you could take not only that Bible story, but any Bible story and put a modern twist to it? And then add a bit of sci-fi, a little bit of historical, a little bit of modern, a little bit of militaristic ideals into it and make a really good series. And that's what the Eternal Battle is.
There you have it. Well, Kadesh, without further ado, man, the book is called The Eternal Battles Above and Below. Tell us a little bit more about the words on those pages.
Yes. So the Eternal Battles is really just simply that. It's just saying the spiritual war that we have against evil, the temptation to do the right thing or to do the wrong thing, and the everyday struggles that people have fighting evil, trying to, bring down crime and just to be good humans in general and not do evil things. And it's a constant battle. And, some people believe, some people don't. But I think that any person can agree that evil is something that exists, even if you see it as just an ideal. And in the book, it goes over why God allows evil to exist and why he allows it to continue for some time. That's a question many people have. I ask it a lot. And so I thought it would be pertinent to answer that question in this medium while they're having fun at the same time. The part that is the inciting incident is God gives a command to the angels. And Satan, he has other ideas. He's in it for himself. He has a huge pride problem. And an argument ensues, and God and Satan exchange words in a heated discussion. God pleads with him, and slowly Satan begins this rebellion in heaven. He eventually, as we all know, attempts a coup, and God calls upon his commander, Michael, the one you see on the cover. And as it says in Revelation, Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, and they cast him out. Satan then, he wanders the universe, void, darkness, and eventually he approaches Earth. Now, he attempted to overthrow heaven. He failed. Now he sets his sights on the only thing he feels that he can do to take revenge, which is God's creation of man. He plots to wipe humanity out. And God, knowing this, he sends his angels. And as far as that goes, I'll stop right there. You guys want it over? You can check out the book. And I wanted to get into some of the elements. So not only does the eternal battles above and below have a biblical foundation, but as I said, it also has militaristic features. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of different types of combat. I'm very interested in those things. So there's air combat, there's ground combat, naval combat, and of course, the major fights between these powerful angels. So my angels are very unique. My idea of these warrior angels is they have this armor. It's different colors, but each angel has a different color, and it has gold in it because heaven is a very rich place where they come from. So in heaven, gold is just like concrete. Diamonds are doorknobs. Heaven's a rich place. And so their armor reflects the wealth of where they come from, as God owns everything. And their weapons are doused in fire. Their wings are not really wings of feathers, except for one angel in particular. I won't say which one it is, but the rest of them have fiery wings. Their wings are flames. And that flame is God's holy fire. And that is why the brand is called Holy Fire Comics, God's Holy Fire. Well, there is a shadowy organization in the mountains, and they're called the Coven. And on top of this demonic assault that's about to commence, this Coven has been percolating, and their ideas are more aligned with evil and deception, and I would call them traitors against humanity because they, in some ways, aid the war on their fellow man. And the government in the book and the military are trying to face these threats. Obviously, they prepared for a number of scenarios, but this scenario is like no other scenario. You know, interdimensional beings, real flesh and blood demons, and fallen angels in the flesh on earth attacking. And they have to come together, and people have to come together and fight this threat or face annihilation. And the angels, that's where they come in. They have a lot of power. But by no means are the angels just kicking the butt of every demon. No. They can be hurt. They can be stressed. They have emotions. They feel things. And they fight tooth and nail. Yes, they're very powerful and more powerful than the demons. But you have to remember that some of these entities were once part of the holy army of heaven. They have a lot of power. A lot of their power was taken during the fall. They still have a lot of power. So the angels fight tooth and nail to defend humanity and in epic battles. And the demons, there are different types of demons, different types of fallen, like lizard humanoids, minotaur humanoids, and there's one guy that he summons swarms of insects, and they have various powers, as do the angels, and they engage in very epic battles.
This is something for you. It's Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, it's holyfirecomics.com. Head on over there, pick up your copies of The Eternal Battles Above and Below by Kadesh Sanders. In addition to his personal website, check out his YouTube pages as well. Go to youtube.com, search KD Arsenal 141. His other page is Holy Fire Comics. Check them both out on youtube.com. I'm telling you, this man has a lot to offer. Kadesh, a follow-up question that I want to go into, something that you brought up some time ago, man, but I think it's a fascinating concept and something that I know we can all relate to. You mentioned that old concept, that old question that people often ask when they're frustrated or confused about God or their higher force, whatever that God may be. They often ask, why does he or she or it allow evil things to happen, allow evil to even exist? Well, I'm really curious, man, because you talked about it in the book, that it's presented in the book and they actually go into elaboration. Now, I don't want to give too much away. People, you understand, you got to go and purchase copies if you want to figure out all of the notions discussed in the book. But I'm really curious, man. I'd love to go into it. What did you come up with to the answer to that age-old question?
Well, the Bible answers it. It says, God laughs at the wicked. It's in Psalms. And to expand upon that, the reason that God allows evil is because God, he dwells outside of time and space. So we have past, present, and future. He dwells outside. If you could imagine a timeless existence. So he's already seen the beginning from the end. He knows they won't get away with it. Even if they fail to be punished on earth, they have to give an account for every action they committed while alive. They have to give an account to him when they pass. And also, even while they're alive, there's one thing that God knows, and he knows exactly everything about you. Why? Because he created you. So when you do that evil and you think you get away with it. He knows exactly the situation to possibly put you in if you are unrepentant. Now, God is merciful. He is merciful, and he will forgive those who turn from evil and want to do right.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are stuck in your ways and you continue in evil, you will be punished. And you said a lot of people ask that question, and they do. And see, from our perspective, we have our way of justice, and God has his.
Right.
We want swift justice because we live in time. He doesn't live in time. And so we may say we need to get that person. But God says, we're just sitting back and just let them do their thing. Let them do their thing. I've already seen how this ends, and it don't end well for them. But we can't see from God's perspective, so we don't understand. So we might blame him for something that happens, but he's sitting from a creator's perspective, like an author. So me, having created the ideas for the book, I know everything in the book. So maybe somebody reading, they haven't finished the book, they're like, okay, why is this or what is that? They have a various question. I'm sitting from the outside. I know how this ends. So the thing is that we have to sit back. We have to trust God. And if our system of justice fails, we have to trust God to do his thing because he knows us. He knows us before we were even forming in our mother's stomach. He knows every hair on our head. He knows us very well. And so if you want to be evil, anybody, he knows how to get you. And there's no way you can run from God because he's omnipresent and he exists in everything. He is a part of everything because he created everything from himself. So there's no running from God. And it is hard for people to understand, but it's something that requires faith. It requires faith.
Kadesh, as we start to close out of here, man, curiosity for myself here again, but throughout this entire process of writing this book, getting it established, bringing it to fruition where now we have the physical copy in front of us, what would you say was a highlight for you throughout this entire process?
The highlight was world building. World building is something that's so fun. Coming up with characters, coming up with powers, designing the way the characters look. Like I have a multi-ethnic group of angels as well. And the terrain, the biomes. This book also has every biome as well within the book. And just my strategy is I say, okay, what would be cool? And I say, okay, for instance, an angel is in the desert and they're provoking some demons. And then I say, okay, angel in the desert provoking demons. I say, okay, what happens before that? What happens after that? And I form a chapter from that. So that's pretty much my strategy. And I go from there, and then I go through it. I said, does this flow? Yes or no? And then I do that repeatedly throughout the book. And then with each battle and scenario, I connect it all so that there's a connection from beginning to end and a narrative arc throughout the book.
Mm-hmm. Final question here for you, Kadesh. If you could enter this world, if you had the opportunity to choose any individual page in the book and enter that world and live in it for a day, Kadesh, which page would you choose to land on and why?
Well, I'm not sure I would, but if I had a choice and I could actually go into this world, I would choose to go into the final two chapters, because how this book ends is so epic. Can't say much. I'm very excited. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, because that would be a travesty. But I would go into the end, and it's the ending is epic.
This entire novel is epic. This is an epic journey that you're going to get lost in, people. Again, it's called The Eternal Battles. While you're at it, make sure you're checking back into his Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and his personal website, holyfirecomics.com, frequently, because this is the first of hopefully so much. This is going to be developed into a series. Now, it's the only one available currently, but like I mentioned, check back in frequently, because there's a series upcoming on the horizon that you're going to want to check out as well and get lost in. While you're at it, don't forget about his two YouTube pages, KD Arsenal 141 and Holy Fire Comics, both of which are littered with so many pieces of entertainment that you're going to have enough to keep your hand full. And again, it's Kadesh Sanders that you have to thank for all of it. Kadesh, this has been a true pleasure, man, an absolute delight. Thank you once again for being a guest on People of Distinction.
Yeah, I like the platform that you give authors, and it means a lot. But God bless.